All right, welcome. We're having a great time in At the Movies. Great series. I've loved doing it. It's one of my favorite series of all times that we do. I think this is our 6th season doing it, or 7th.
Yeah. Anytime I can come to church and eat popcorn is a good time.
Yeah, I'm all for it. We got fresh popcorn this week coming in. They're going to get here early and pop it. It's going to be smelling good. I'm going to have to go off keto just to preach.
I would say that popcorn's the one trick for keto. So it's like just as long as you don't eat too much of it.
You can have like a cup.
Yeah,
Or
a cup
two.
or two, 3, a bucket, whatever.
Yeah, I was going to say, if I'm eating popcorn, it's not by the cup.
I'm eating popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't measure it in cups at that point.
I just assume there's more fiber in it than
Yeah, go with that. Go with that fallacy.
Yeah.
Anyway, this week we're doing a movie that I had no idea existed. Julie found it. She said, you need to watch this movie, and it's called Ordinary Angels. One of the fun things for me is a lot of people have never seen a lot of the movies that we do, and it brings a new audience to some of these pictures. And because this one just has some phenomenal reality to it of what real people go through. And a big apology out to Alan Richardson. Is that it?
I think so.
I've called him every name you can imagine but his own. But I appreciate him from Reacher. And anybody that, if I can watch a guy from Reacher playing a dramatic movie too, I'm down to watch it. And it was just a great movie. And for me, it was huge because it put the hands and the feet to the story of the Great Samaritan.
Yeah.
And because to me, as you look at the story of the Great Samaritan, we all understand what Jesus meant. We understand what he said, but the how to do that. We don't often run across a guy beaten half to death, laying there bloody naked in the street for us to take care of, much less have a place we can take him. We're going to drop him in the hospital. This guy paid his own bill for him and did everything in the world. And I love this movie because you see this woman who is far from perfect. Matter of fact, shows up at the funeral drunk. Not even a funeral of somebody she knows, but this guy's wife, and wants to help. What can I do to help? And I love the movie because it really gives some feet to how can we be the hands and feet of Jesus? How can we be that friend, that good neighbor?
Give us a 30-second overview of the movie.
All right, Alan Richardson. It's a true story. He is a father of 2 girls. His wife gets terminal cancer, a brain tumor.
Yeah.
And he's having to face life alone with his 2 daughters, one like 4 or 5 and the other probably 10 or 12. And then his daughter gets the same problem his mother had. She needs a new liver or something. I would say whatever organ, but that's just like totally rude. And his daughter is now terminally ill. And it's the process that this guy goes through, being a roofer, has his own company, but he can't make ends meet. He can't pay the bills. He can't afford to take care of his daughter, much less still pay off the bills from his wife.
For those of you in Georgia, that's a roofer,
Oh, sorry.
not roofer.
Nah, if you grow up country enough, I got this. We get roofing.
Roofer.
Up on the roof.
Ding,
Anyway.
dong, ding.
When he's walking through this lady out of nowhere at an AA meeting that she doesn't want to be at, gets this burden to actually help him. And she's a hairdresser. So she decides, you know what, maybe I can do a hair-a-thon. So she gets everyone in town to come get free haircuts and donate to it. And it actually pays off one of his $6,000 or $7,000 bills, which is huge per haircut.
Yeah.
That her and her co-partner did that owned the salon together. But then she still feels burdened to pay the rest of his bills or to find a way to get it paid, find a way to take care of him. So she goes to the mat for this guy she's never met, and this little girl she's never met, just because she saw the need. And that's what I think the overwhelming story of the Good Samaritan is, as well as this movie, is there's needs all around us. And God's given us the ability or capabilities to help meet some of those needs. Why not do it?
Yeah.
So that's what I really loved about it, and the whole story that Good Samaritan just creeps out every pore of this movie. And the ending, you see him appreciating the woman who he got on his very last nerves all the way through the movie. And she actually has a time of redemption as well for herself as she finally realizes she needs help, and she's got some needs, and her friends helping meet those needs. And even the hard truth he gives her helps her get her life right with her son and restore a relationship that's broken. So you see needs go both ways. That there's just because somebody's in need doesn't mean they may not have what you need. It's part of that interaction of relationships that God uses us to help each other walk through life as iron sharpens iron. It goes both ways. Each piece is going to help the other go. So our text, if you got it, we're in the book of Luke, chapter 10. Anybody want to hit it?
You want it this time, John, or you got it?
Sure. Luke 10, what?
25.
And the lawyer stood up and put him to the test, saying, Teacher, what shall I do to inherit eternal life? And he said to him, What is written in the law? How does it read to you? And he answered, You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength, and with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself. And he said to him, You've answered correctly. Do this, and you will live. But wishing to justify himself, he said to Jesus, And who is my neighbor?
And it sums up the entire 10 Commandments. If you got the first half of the 10 Commandments is about loving God, and second half is about loving others. And Jesus said the greatest commandments, love God. Second is to love each other. And that's what he calls us to. And that's one of the hardest things you don't see handled well or taught well is how do you actually love somebody else? Because we do best to tolerate some people, much less really show them love. And part of that's because we don't get a grip on how we could actually do it with what we have and who we are. But if this whole Bible is summed up with love God and love others, there's something huge there.
Well, and I think it's interesting when you think about, the 10 Commandments and not doing those things. Like it's so easy to not do those things when you're loving on people. Like when you're genuinely loving people, you're not going to murder them. You're not going to rob them or take from them or break them. And like, you're not envying them. Like, I love the fact that if you're loving people, it's not a stumbling block to cross those lines. I love you, so it's easy to not do these things. So I thought it was an interesting concept.
I was nice and turned my mic off so I wouldn't blow your drums out.
Thank you. The gate.
I think my Diet Dr. Pepper, shameless plug, went down the wrong pipe.
Don't you dare blame Dr. Pepper for that. You swallowed it wrong.
Whatever. So when Jesus gives this commandment, now this is a lawyer who's talking to him, and they had lawyers who heard their job was to find every loophole in the law. What can I avoid? What can I not do? A lot of Christians still do that today. Well, did he actually say I can't do that, or just imply it? That was the lawyer's whole job. And this lawyer, the reason he asked the follow-up question to Jesus is because he is looking for that loophole, because he said, this is what I say. He said, great, do that and you'll be okay. He said, but where's my loophole? He said, who's my neighbor?
Yeah.
And Jesus chose the most extreme neighbor he could have ever given to this Jewish lawyer, that the neighbors, well, let me tell you a story. And we'll go with the story.
Jesus replied and said, A man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell among robbers. And they stripped him and beat him and went away, leaving him half dead. And by chance, a priest was going down on that road. And when he saw him, he passed by on the other side. Likewise, a Levite also, when he came to the place and saw him, passed by on the other side. But a Samaritan.
So both of them.
Yeah.
You've got a priest, you've got a Levite of the Levitical family who's in charge of the temple and just worshiping the Lord, loving the Lord. The road that's going down, they're talking about, was rampant with robbers. And it could be that the priest is not wanting to defile himself, because if this guy's actually dead and he were to touch him, he couldn't go do his job in the temple. The Levite, the same, not wanting to take his life in his hands or make himself unclean, so he couldn't go hang out with God, leaves this guy shot to the curb. And we justify stuff like that all the time in our minds. Either we're too busy, it's going to be inconvenient. Oh, I can't help that person. They're going to rub off on me, and I'll do something horrible, evil if I hang around that kind of person. And Jesus uses this opposite person to show who really is doing the will of God, even though it may not be the person you thinking could ever accomplish the will of God, just because he's being a true friend and neighbor. So check him out, the Samaritan.
But a Samaritan who was on a journey came upon him, and when he saw him, he felt compassion and came to him and bandaged up his wounds, pouring oil and wine on them. And then he put him on his own beast and brought him to an inn and took care of him. On the next day, he took out 2 denarii and gave them to the innkeeper and said, "Take care of him, and whatever more you spend, I'll return and I will repay you."
Huge homework, you two. See if you remember from one of our earlier episodes. Why did the Jews hate the Samaritans?
Because they were a muddle of all the religions. They weren't focused on anything. They were just trying to satisfy all these different religions, thoughts, and needs.
Yeah, going back to the woman at the well.
Yep.
That we talked about, I think it was the first time.
Yeah.
That those people, they weren't as right as we were, as holy as we are. And I think the Samaritans hated them back because they got tired of being those people. And they had competing places of worship. The Samaritans would worship up in Samaria, and the Jews would worship in Jerusalem. And it became it's worse. I guess the worst part is they were more tolerant of total pagans than they were half believers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's the whole Bible verse of not being lukewarm.
Yeah. Or Samaritan at all.
They may have took it a little too far, but yeah, I mean, it's there.
Well, and so when you look at it, one of the things that stuck out, the first thing stuck out to me in the whole text when we were reading it, when I was watching the movie, is there's need all around us.
Yeah.
All you got to do is open your eyes. It's funny that the priest was going to serve God, going to be the hands and feet of Jesus, missing the chance to be the hands and feet of Jesus.
I'll pray for you.
Yeah. And I've had time and time again where I've been late somewhere and seen somebody stuck on the side of the road going, yeah, somebody else will help. And God said, yeah, I think that somebody should be you.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't always helped them well. It was weird because he'd ran out of gas, older car, carburetor, and I knew he wanted to prime it. And he left the gas can in there. And next thing you know, it backfires, catches his engine on fire, catches the gas can on fire. And wanting to help him, I just chucked the gas can, not realizing that where I'm chucking it, gas cans on fire should not go. And,
Anywhere.
Yeah, pretty much anywhere. Yeah. And another guy on another bridge, another place, I'm trying to help the same way, same thing kind of happens. And so I quit pulling over to help them because I was causing more damage than help. And I think I became their greater need than the need they actually had.
Insurance companies love him.
Yeah.
I was helping a guy another time at a concert, and I was doing security, and they had an old beater van, and they were trying to, I don't know why people would try and start their engines this way back in the day, but they did. And theirs caught on fire under the hood, and they couldn't see it because the van was set back. Well, being a good helper, they had their carburetor exposed and the fire going. I had a fire extinguisher next to me at the place I was working. So I ran and I filled their entire carburetor full of dry chemical and put the fire out.
I was thinking, how could this go wrong? He's got the fire extinguisher. This is working
Yeah, I helped.
There is a fine line of how much gas to put in the car. It's a little bit, not fill it up, but
Yeah, they learned that the hard way.
At least 3 people. Maybe you should have learned that.
Yeah.
That's too much gas, guys.
Yeah.
I was just there to help. I didn't want to take over.
Yeah.
But I think it's something Julie's
Not my car.
Julie's been trying to teach me forever that you help because it needs done, not because, for instance, the dishes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like doing the dishes. And I told her, if you ever see me doing the dishes, it's just me screaming, I love you. That's what she says, no, you should do the dishes just because they need done. I said, I totally agree. I should do them just because they need done. But you need to know
I'm not going to.
that I'm going to do them. But if I do them, it's not because they need it done, but because I just want to say I love you.
I hate this dish, but I love my wife.
I hate doing dishes.
They're horrible.
No, I'll take dishes over laundry.
Oh, I don't mind laundry.
I can't stand doing laundry.
I'll fold a shirt all day.
I play in the water and the soap.
Yeah,
Well,
I'd rather.
and I think it's because I like cooking and I want the dishes to be at a certain level of cleanliness when I get to them the next time. Because that's the thing with the 4 kids washing dishes. You know how many times I have to rewash a pot?
I'm so glad you clarified it was your kids that didn't know how to wash a dish, because you're about to get in a lot of trouble.
Oh, no. It's the kids. That's their responsibility. But when I go grab a pot and it's got like noodles stuck in it, I'm like, you put it away knowing there was a noodle there.
I didn't see it.
Like it's like there. But yes, I agree. Like I will do the laundry because again, like I love like trying to get to the bedroom early and like because we throw our clothes on the bed before bed and put them up. And I'm like, yeah, I get it done quick and surprise them. This is a
It's
good
just,
feeling.
I love you.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah.
That's all it is. But to her point, when something needs done, it just needs done.
But you can do
And
it.
if you have the ability to do it or the ability to help, why not help?
Yeah.
And if you take that to outside of your house,
Yeah.
to life in general, what a great picture of the way we should be. You help when there's a need, just because there's a need, and you have the ability to help with whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we see in the Good Samaritan. He's not a doctor, but he could bind up a wound. He's not a innkeeper, but he could get a room for the guy to take care of him. He had the ability to do those things, so he did just what he could do. Whereas the priest, what could have he done?
Anything.
Anything. There you go.
Walked
Sit
over
with
and said,
him.
"Are you
Said
okay?"
hello.
Yeah.
Get somebody and bring them back. Whatever.
Yeah.
But we often overlook needs that aren't our own. And I remember we were late to, I think, one of you boys had a concert. We were coming back from a cruise ship, Julie and I were, and we're about a mile from the exit, and the car stops. We run out of gas because I didn't get it when I should have. Yeah. So I'm pushing the car uphill, and the little sign that says 1 mile is a lie straight from hell. Far much more than a mile. And I'm pushing it, and we're going to be late for your concert. And this is on the freeway, but I just so happened to see a familiar looking van about to go by.
Yes.
Church van.
Not any church van.
Our church van
The church band.
with my worship pastor in it, going to the same concert.
I'm gonna tag him.
And I'm going, oh, great, he's going to stop. Whoosh. Right on by.
It's a good looking van.
Didn't send nobody for me either. He played the Levite. I think that's what we do more than anything else. We pretend we don't see it.
Yeah.
I think that's what the Levite was pulling off. Let me just slip by on the other side of the road. If I don't see it, if I don't make eye contact with it, if I don't talk to him, I don't have to help or fix it. And I think there's a difference between helping and enabling. I think this is a different situation from somebody trying to get you to give him drug money.
Yeah.
I don't think you're helping giving a junkie money.
I'll give you a sandwich.
Yeah.
Well, and it's funny how many cultures have like bred that. Thinking about Haiti, if you, a lot of the people I've talked to and that live there and spend a lot of time there, they would, if you see someone hurt on the side of the road, you ignore them, because if you touch them, basically it's like you touch them last, you touch them, and they get hurt, and well, they've already hurt, and they go to the hospital. Well, you're now on the hook for their bills, and if they die, you're on the hook for their family and their funeral and making sure that everyone associated to that person is okay. And you're like, cool, that's great. But like, so now everyone's just like,
You're going to die
yep,
alone.
it's just a splinter. It's a flesh wound.
Well, you know the same thing happens here, but not with people, with animals.
Yeah.
Jennifer, my secretary, she rescues anything and everything. And she's coming from Brantley, and somebody had hit a dog. So she takes the dog to the vet, and the vet wants her to pay for all of it. She's like, it's not my dog. I just saw it in the middle of the road. Yeah, sorry. You got to pay these bills. Sorry, it ain't my dog. And
Well, you the dog's staying there.
so she had to get somebody else to try and help the dog, just give him a couple $100 to stabilize it.
Yeah.
And we do the same thing with dogs here.
Yep.
But that's terrible. They do it with people. And
It's a very common thing to just see someone hurt and you walk past.
so what would Jesus do in, was it Bahamas?
Haiti.
And Haiti?
Jesus would just heal.
What would the Good Samaritan story do how would he give the Good Samaritan story in Haiti? Does that putting you on the hook negate your responsibility?
I mean, the
to be a neighbor?
Samaritan went and paid for it.
Yeah, the Samaritan went out of the way and did those things. So that's what I was saying. It's so funny that culture has like ingrained the Levites' mindset.
Yeah.
Like that's my whole point is what the Samaritan did is what the culture of Haiti has forced onto you. Socialism. It's the same thing of like, oh, I want to help the people around me, but now you're telling me where I need to do my helping. Yeah. Like I was going to help that person. And that whole like walk the extra mile. Sure, I will do these things, but now you're racking me up with all these other things, and you're making it impossible to do the right thing because you're trying to burden everything. Like it's no longer me doing it out of love. Yeah. It's doing it out of some like forced obligation. And you're right. It's the entirety of the Samaritan did those actions.
That's where some of the frustration happened during the fires.
Yeah.
In Brantley, is because there was groups trying to help give people money, supplies, food, whatever they could to take care of them. And greater organizations came in and said, well, if you're going to give them anything, you have to tell us who you gave it, how much to, and then we're going to subtract it from what we would have given them.
No.
Yeah. And so people started saying no. People said, I'm not going through a bigger organization. We're going to do it ourselves, and started handing people money individually instead of trusting an organization who should be able to take care of these people. You couldn't let them know what you're doing for fear of them not getting the help they need.
Yeah, that's wild. Oh, cool. We don't have to give them that $20.
That's pretty much what happened. There was a group that did a fundraiser, and they came to them and said, hey, you need to give us all the money for that fundraiser you just did so we can take care of them. And it was a group of people that didn't take control well.
Yeah.
And they threatened bodily harm and hurting them and their families if they didn't leave. And so they let them keep the money and then give it to the people who needed it. All right. Anyway, back to Good Samaritan. Back on track of where we're supposed to be.
The rabbits. The rabbits.
One of the things that really I loved about the movie is one of the things that stuck out was that a lot of the needs that you find are always going to inconvenience you. And the Samaritan, if you just think about it, any businessman who's having to ride a donkey to get where he's going probably isn't on time. And he probably had a lot of other stuff he needed to do. He didn't need to sit and bandage this guy's wound. He didn't need to pay for his room and board. He didn't need any of these things. It was not convenient for him to do these, which any need you ever see that God's calling you to help somebody is probably going to inconvenience you. And that's okay. We shouldn't mind being inconvenienced for the sake of helping somebody else who's really in need.
And there's no telling how long this man had been on the road. Like he said, like it was the next day he took the two denarii and gave it to the innkeeper. Like that means it took time to even get there. That means he'd probably been on the road for days, got back on the road for days, and made the promise to come back and pay more. Like this man went like above and like well above and beyond when it wasn't as we're all busy and so busy, but we can move. Like we can get to Jacksonville in 45 minutes. Like that trip normally, like back in the day, would have been days and days of travel. Like we can help, and cool, we'll be 5 minutes late. Or if you're like you said, if you're already late, well, I'm already late. So what's another 15 minutes of lateness? Like so, it's honestly helping should be easier now because it's easier to find the people who can come up with those solutions. Oh, I can't do anything for this, but I can make a call.
Yeah,
like. Done. It's just there's just less and less of it's as funny as it is. There's less and less of an excuse.
Yeah, well, I think the excuse, or not the excuse, but the reason for the excuse is the lack of compassion.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
We haven't been there, or we don't remember being there.
Yeah.
So we don't feel that same pain that they feel.
My problem's bigger than your problem.
Yeah. I think the reason I want to help people on the side of the road run out of gas is because I've been there.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think a lot of times people are just, it's not even compassion, it's pity. So I don't know, do you think the motives behind it? Because, I mean, some people do it just out of selfishness, like someone's going to see me doing this.
Yeah, the kudos.
Yeah. Yeah, or they'll go to their work and they'll tell, I stopped and helped this guy, or I took him here. It wasn't to help that guy, it was, so they could tell people they did.
So what did Jesus say about that?
I don't know. What do you think?
Not in this story, but Jesus talks about not doing your good works for people to see.
Yeah.
You've already got your reward. You've
Your eternal reward.
you've done what you're going to get. He said, "Don't let your right hand know what your left hand's doing." Often, because he's going to call you to do stuff not to get the credit, not to get the kudos, because motive does matter. And when you're helping for the wrong motives, people know what it feels like to be a notch in your belt.
Yeah.
They're glad you helped them,
Well, yeah.
but it wasn't for the press release.
Well, and you know that cool. I'm now going to be like that whole shame thing. Like you've now gone and made that person knows you're like, oh, he's just going to go and talk about how broke I am and how poor I am and how needy I am. Like I'm that person on the billboard who needs the gallon of milk. Like, cool, thanks. Like that is not love. Going back to the first part of the conversation of like, are you loving those people that you're interacting with? And that's not love. Like if you leave that person and they're feeling worse than when you pulled up, like, did you do a good job?
Or if you're giving it begrudgingly.
Yeah.
I knew somebody who helped out a family for Christmas.
Yeah.
And then he saw that family go and just blow a ton of money on something that he didn't agree with.
It was a gift.
And he was ticked. I gave them that, and then they're just wasting this money here. I said, dude, you didn't give that money to them with strings. When you gave that, you're giving it for God. And once you gave it, it's up to them what they do with it. It's not up to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can get a bad taste in your mouth when you feel like what you've given's been misused or abused. But it still goes back to your heart. Did you give it with the right reason?
Right.
Were you taking care of the need because there was actually a need? Then you've done your part.
And if there was something that you wanted that money to go to, then why didn't you just go buy the thing that you wanted it to go to?
Yeah.
And then you could have skipped the whole middleman. Like you still would have given them the thing. Like, yeah, there's no strings. I think it's it's just the perfect way to phrase it. Like you can't give it, then have all the stipulations. That's no longer a gift.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same token, is the person who reluctantly or selfishly helps better than the person who didn't help at all?
For the one who needed the help, it might be a little bit better.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure they appreciate it. But if the heart's wrong.
Yeah. They didn't get any of the reward.
Yeah.
That's why it says God loves a cheerful giver.
So if you're not feeling it, don't do it because it's not worth it. No.
Except for the person who needed it.
Yeah.
Then it was worth it.
That's a gift for now. It's a gift. We got to get a gift Venn diagram.
Yeah.
Well, we used to go to a place to help out. I'm not going to list what place it was just because I'm going to say something. Well, you guys have to cut it again. You guys cut everything I say.
I've got a lot of editing to do on this one.
We were helping them out and driving halfway across the country to help them out, just out of love of our heart. Didn't mind it, loved it totally. And we tried to go back. We've been a couple times, different times. But the last time we tried to go back, they didn't need us anymore because now they had corporations who were using as part of their diagram for their workforce, you have to donate so many hours to work at this place as part of being out of our company culture. And so instead, since they had a lot of people helping, they said, well, you guys can still come, but we're going to charge you to be here. I said, well, time out.
Yeah. There's people that actually need help.
Yeah, you don't need our help. There's not a need.
We were offering.
But when we did it, there was a need. Nobody else would help them. Gave us a chance. When we went to Macedonia to help build the church, the people who were set to go build it, it became a do not go country because of the war. And the missionary who was there is going, all right, all the teams just canceled who were supposed to do this. What am I going to do? Because we have this long till we have to be out of our present building and into this one, and it's not ready to be done. And I said, I got a couple guys who might be able to go. And it was funny because they didn't care who the guys were. It was myself, a 76, 77-year-old man, 60-some-year-old man, a bunch of rednecks from Georgia just show up.
They got hands. We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
And that's all they cared. And the stuff that we were able to do was stuff we weren't able to do. God showed up and God did things.
Yeah.
That 70-some-year-old man was a machine. He had been a general contractor and a superintendent over all the Shoney's in the whole state of Georgia. He was that guy who, great construction knowledge, and they still bring people from the engineering school in the capital city down to that little church we built to see this wood construction that they did, supporting all this weight that they'd never done in Macedonia before.
Yeah.
Because that little 70-some-year-old guy that nobody thought could ever do nothing, God had just the right people at the right place at the right time who were willing. I think that's the key, is willing. We may not feel like we have a lot to offer. We don't feel like we can do a whole lot. But if God, all God needs is a willing heart, and he's going to put the pieces together. That's why he loves a cheerful giver. That's why he wants us to do it with the right motive.
Yeah.
All he needs us is to be willing. It all belongs to him anyway.
Yeah.
He owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. He can sell if he has to.
Yeah.
To take care of the need. And that's where I think that Good Samaritan was that different kind of person, because he said, you know what? All I have belongs to him anyway. If he needs me to use it for this guy, I'm okay with that. He'll take care of me. You can't outgive God. I think not only inconvenience you, but they cost you. It cost him money. It cost this lady time, reputation. Often helping somebody else can make other people not want to hang out with you, especially if it's not somebody that you think should be helped or they think should be helped. There was a guy going up on our drug charges that somebody said, hey, would you go talk to him? I said, you bet. Everybody said, no, don't go over there. If you go over there, everybody else is going to think you're part of it, and it's going to make you look bad in this town, little bitty town. I said, I don't care what I look like. God's calling me to help this guy get him right with God, and before he goes to jail, why not? And I get there to go to his house, and I go to help him, and we'll go to talk to him about Jesus, and he says, you can't be here. I said, I can be anywhere I want. And I said, matter of fact, if you need somebody to go to court with you, I'll go to court with you. So you really can't go there. If you go to court with me, everyone in this town is going to hate you. I don't care if everybody in the town hates me. You need somebody to go with you, I'll go with you. And went with him, and sure enough, everybody in town, none of them knew who I was because I was new to the town. And I showed up in a suit just looking. They didn't have a clue who I was, which was really fun in a small town to do to people. And his uncle was one of the ones pushing it all. And so I drove up to his uncle's house after that part of the trial, the first day. He said, don't go see him, he'll kill you. I said, he won't kill me, I got this. I said, I bet you wonder who I am. He said, yes, sir. I said, you invite me in, I'll come tell you. He said, all right. Went inside. He said, all right, who are you? Saw you with him. I said, well, my name's Tim Brown. I'm a pastor down here at such and such. And I just figured if I could lead him to Jesus, get him closer, that's my job, and that's why I'm hanging out with him, because he gave Jesus his life. And he needs a friend. I told him I'd sit through court with him. And I said, for you, I offer you the same thing. I know what you're going through. Just from what I've heard, how can I help? So it was fun to blow all them away, that it didn't matter, because if you're doing what God wants you to do, he's going to put you where he wants you. And it may cost you your reputation, because some people still don't want to talk to me anymore because I talked to him. You ever have those time in your life where somebody wants you to only be their friend if you're somebody else's friend that they don't like, you're no longer their friend? Oh.
Thought you needed audio adjustments.
No, he was pointing at you.
See how it is.
But I think the best part of the movie was the woman they chose to be the Good Samaritan. She was a mess. Matter of fact, you see Alan Richardson, when she showed up at his house and his mom invites her in, he's like, Mom, don't let her in here. She's a mess. God uses messy people. Matter of fact, you don't have to be perfect for God to use you to meet somebody's needs. Mm-hmm. You just got to be willing. And if we wait till we're all perfect before we can let God use us, we're never going to be used. Because I don't know any of us that are perfect. No. We may not be as messed up as somebody else, but that's all relative.
I would say even then, like, just
I like to think I'm close.
So when you think about Christians and who God can use and not, there's actually churches who wouldn't let us come to it, some of them. But this woman being an alcoholic, how many people would let her organize a fundraiser.
No, everyone's going to be thinking the same thing. She's just going to be, she's
Going
going
to
to
take that money.
She'll be buying liquor with it.
Yeah.
She's getting the top shelf stuff now.
Or is that our problem, that we're not willing to let people have those second chances in life to start over, or to let God use them? If it took being in a perfect place before God could use you, there wouldn't be any sermons on any Sundays. So I guarantee your preacher somewhere is messed up during the week.
Yeah, it's sorry guys, canceling this Sunday. I was close. It was Saturday night. We were getting there. Try again next week.
And where's the line? Because we do put categories in Christianity of people God can't use because of what they're doing or what they've done.
I mean, and it goes back to being put in the right places. This is that whole like satirical resume building. Like, she's an alcoholic. She can't do this. She's got really good party building experience. Like, hey, let's give her a go. Like, God puts the right people. Like, hey, she's done a lot of stuff in that time of bad. Like, God redeemed that for good. So it's a satirical resume builder, but there's some truth to it.
Well, that's the thing, because her helping him eventually will help her.
Yeah.
Because the more you're trying to work for him and do for him, the more you start thinking about him, the more you start getting more like him, the more he starts to work on you as you let the Holy Spirit use you. That's why we don't put prerequisites on somebody helping out on any of our mission projects, whether we're doing chainsaw work or anything else. Well, we're not going to let you come chainsaw drunk. But it's one of those things that often doing those ministries, helping meet those needs, is what draws people in to find out more about Jesus, to get submitted to him, to get right with him, to give him their life for the first time. And I think a lot of churches miss the job that God called them to by only letting certain holy people be the hands and feet of Jesus.
Yeah. Well, and then when those holy people don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Like, if you have someone with a willing heart, use it.
Yeah.
Let them, use their gift.
Now, there's a fine line that you have to draw as you're letting people use their gifts on, listen, we need you to fix this because it's not right. Or some things that you may have done will keep you from doing certain things in ministry. If you're on Megan's list, you're not going to be working in the children's department or helping out at face painting at the trunk or treat. There's just certain things you may not be able to do. And there's some things I wouldn't have an alcoholic going witnessing at the bar. You don't want to put them in those compromised places. You want to look out for them as well. But I don't think people's humanness discounts God using them. Because if it did, no one would ever get used.
Yeah.
Look at Samson. Samson struggled. People, no, he was a judge. Who's the woman in his life that we know of?
Delilah.
And you know what her job was?
Doing Delilah things.
Hair cutting.
Delightful.
She was a salon.
She worked the salon. We'll call it a salon.
That's where we draw the line.
You can't work a salon. Samson wasn't it wasn't his wife he was with. Let's just put it that way. And God still used him. He even disobeyed and broke his vows. That's why he lost his hair and his strength. And he prayed, God, let me have it back and get vengeance. And God did. All God wants is a repentant heart. All God wants is somebody who's willing to change, willing to let him do what he wants to do. But if we wait for perfection, we're never going to be able to be used because we're not going to be perfect till we get home. But should we be striving for it? Yes. Should we strive to be clean? Yes. Should we strive to live our life upright? Yes. But if we only leave it for the holy people, then most people don't get help.
There's a quote here I like. It says, sometimes evil doesn't win because bad people act. It wins because good people keep walking. So, yeah.
And I think that's true of everything from helping somebody in need to leading somebody to Jesus. to giving somebody
that's
comfort.
helping
and
someone
help.
in need.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
That's about peak level.
Yeah.
That's the first one. Everything else is supplemental.
That is life and death.
Yeah. But we get so caught up in our own thing that we just don't do what's needed to be done. And I think that's what I love this movie because it gave practical application of some things you could do within your sphere to help. For her, she was a hairdresser. She knew how to cut hair. She said, I can do a hair-a-thon. She knew how to not take no for an answer, and she was a busybody, and she didn't mind getting in people's faces, so she went to all those CEOs and said, hey, you need to write this bill off. And she wouldn't take no for an answer. She was that kind of person.
Yeah.
But that's the very thing needed to get him the flights he needed to get his daughter to get her liver replaced.
Yeah. Well, and just like in the parable, Jesus, he picked the person that people listening least wanted to be the one to be the hero.
Yeah. I guess that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Jesus gave the one example that no one else would ever pick.
Yeah.
That's you.
Or Brandon.
And Brandon.
And Brandon. Oh gosh, that's me.
It's all of us. We're not the one God or everyone else would choose to necessarily meet some of these needs, but we're the ones who are willing that God says, hey, if you're just willing, I can do great things. Look at the 12 disciples. They were mess ups their whole life. They weren't picked to be part of the elite. They weren't picked to be junior rabbis. When they would go through school, if they would memorize the Torah, the Old Testament law, the first 5 books of the Bible, they would memorize that, and if they did really good, they'd say, you've done good, and about 12 years old, they let them go into the next level, and they would memorize the prophets and all the rest of the Old Testament. And those who didn't make the cut said, you know what, go learn your father's trade. That's where you're set. If you were the creme de la creme, though, you would get a chance to sit at the feet of a rabbi and get an internship, become his apprentice, because his mentee. And the saying was, may you fall so close, may the dust of your rabbi rest upon you. May you be so close to following him that the sandals that flip up dirt fall on you because you're following him so closely.
I thought you were going to say Mentos.
Not Mentos.
Feet, toes. Come on. Oh. Sorry.
When Jesus chose the disciples, none of them had been offered an internship. They'd all been told to go back and learn your dad's trade because you're not there. You're not the elite. You're not the best of the best. So when he chose his 12, he chose the worst of the worst. He chose the normal people. He chose the people who didn't have a lot to offer, but they were willing to go. Peter's big claim to fame was being one of the sons of thunder. That's just because he loved to fight. He was a good brawler. Matthew, tax collector. Simon the Zealot, assassin. None of them were the cream religious crop, but all of them were obedient and worthy. Not worthy, available. That's all he asks. We're never going to be clean enough to deserve to be used. The best we can ever hope for is that God uses us in spite of our faults, and he cleans us up as he does. I guess that was the last point of the whole series, the whole movie, was that love affects everyone. You see love change his heart, the dad. You see love change her life to where she does start going to rehab and AA and getting things right, and finally admits she has a problem. She fixes a relationship with her son. You see the town, who even though he knew he was going through this stuff, was letting him go through it alone, now all come together and make it possible for this girl to get her liver. You see him as a dad who's upset with God, who's ticked at God, because God just let my wife die and now my daughter's dying. Thought you loved me. At one point he...
when you played that scene where he's in the graveyard with the girl, I thought she was dead. I was like, oh no, here it goes. That girl is dead.
No, but that was Mama's grave. When he was on the roof right after he got the news from the doctor about his daughter, he's like, "What'd I ever do to you?" When this thunder hits and the storms are coming out, he's like, "He ticked at God." And it's such a normal place to be when you're in a place of hurt and pain and need. Let's just say need. When you're in that place of need and God in your eyes hasn't provided it, it can be really frustrating and people can get really upset at God. And you see God use this woman and his daughters to get him back where he needed to be. And so that love that you wouldn't expect changes everybody in the picture. And I think that's why God wants us to do it, because when we love him and we love others, it gives them a chance to wonder, why are you helping me? Why are you doing this for me? And it's just because he loved me. If he loved me, he can love you. And he called me to love you because he loves me. And I think it's just part of making it more appealing to people that God does love them and God does provide for them. Because when your life gets rough and you got needs, you often feel, where's he at? And when he shows up and brings somebody at just the right time to meet a need that only he can meet, it just screams even more that there's a God.
Yeah, when we're called to emulate Jesus in all things, to go and do greater things than I've ever done. Like, and then people were like, "Oh, I was calling for God and you showed up." I'm like, this is what Jesus said for us to do. Like, I'm doing the things that Jesus called us to do. And, you know, most people aren't going to push back, but it's still that whole thing of people wanting help to show up as a dove in the sky and a butterfly landing on the moon and whatever, you know. But no, it's just us walking in the dust of our rabbi.
Yeah. And the closer we get to him, the more he can use us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I love the movie. I love the story. I love the story of the Good Samaritan. It's one of my favorites, just because God doesn't judge by what we judge by. He judges the heart. He sees what we do. He sees how we are. And he says, hey, we need to get better. You need to keep your eyes open. So I guess for us, if we can learn to keep our eyes open and see where a need is, not be blinded by our own circumstances and situations that we miss, what somebody else has going on in their life, God can actually use us. And even in using us helps heal us as well of what we might be going through.
Thanks.
That's what stuck out to me.
Yeah. Love your neighbor
As yourself.
Make sure you love yourself too, then.
Do unto others before they can do unto you. I guess that's the American way. But what Jesus say? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I think we all want somebody to take care of our need if we have a need. Actually, I take that back. Some of us are so self-sufficient. We're so prideful. We don't want to let anybody know we have a need because that makes us weak. And we don't want to need people. Everybody's got a need. And you just got to learn that sometimes God wants to use someone else to meet your need. And by meeting your need, it might be meeting their need. And you're depriving them of that just because you put your own valuation system on what's a need and what's not a need. And yeah, that's probably the hardest thing for me, is to let people help me. I mean, not to let them, but to ask. All right, what else you guys got?
I think we're good on this one.
Short, sweet, to the point. I like it.
That's all she wrote.
Now, next week, or the next one coming up for this will be, can we give the title yet? Or we got to wait till then? It's already all rolled, so I guess we can.
The Sophomore.
No, that's a totally different movie. This would be The Senior. A couple years later. All right, put a fork in us.
Bye.